I think that I ran into a
Ah,
friend. It's when you meet someone that you didn't expect to meet and just talk about
yes,
anything.
yes. So, for example, you are at the supermarket and you run into a friend. So you meet someone without an schedule or without arrange this meeting, right? So it is not planned. You don't plan to meet your friend, but you run into him or her. So this is run into a friend. And run into a tree is when you do this. This is run into a tree, right? So these words, I don't know what happened with my computer now. These words are phrasal verbs, okay? So what do you understand for phrasal verbs? What are phrasal verbs? Can you give me any ideas of
País, ¿qué significa país?
A word that
¿Ah?
is composed.
¿Cómo estás?
Composed.
Muy bien.
compound?
Have two words and have another meaning.
Okay,
Francés.
yes, very good. It's a phrase that is compound for two words and it has another meaning. Good. Any other ideas about what is a phrasal verb? No? No ideas? Okay, a phrasal verb, yes, these are words together and they have another meaning as your partner said. But these are compound by a verb and an adjective or an adverb. Maybe sometimes they are three words, not just two. Okay, for example, it says phrasal verbs are phrases that indicate actions. Okay, they are generally used in spoken English and informal text. Okay, examples of such verbs include turn down, come across, or run into. These are phrasal verbs. Okay, phrases that native speakers they usually use these phrases in spoken English. Okay, and these are informal. Okay, so how do we form these phrasal verbs? We form the phrasal verbs with a verb and a preposition or adverb. Okay, for example, run, come, turn, put. This verb comes at the beginning, and then we can add any of these preposition of adverbs to the verb, and this is a phrasal verb. Okay, so for example, here we have go through, take after, look for, look up, and come across. Okay, and here we have the meaning. Go through, undergo a difficult period. Okay, so when you have to pass or you have to face a difficult situation. Okay, take after, resemble a parent or ancestor. Okay, for example, when you look like your mother or like your father, you take after your father or your mother. Okay, you look like him. Okay, look for, to search for someone or something, and look up, search for in a book or other source. Okay, and then we have here come across, meet or find by chance. Okay, so for example, here we have, she's gone through a lot in order to achieve what she has. Okay, so she has to face difficult situations until this time. Okay, then we have another one. Sorry, something is wrong with my mouse. Here we have another one. And he takes after his mother or his mother's side of the family. Okay, so take after, parecerse a alguien, ¿cierto? Okay, then we have the other one. Please turn off your microphones. Look for. Why do you always look for the worst? Okay, so search for something, right? In this situation. Here we have look up. I didn't know that loquacious meant and had to look it up in a dictionary. And the last one, came across. I came across a word. Let me see here the word. I came across a word I've never seen before. So we have different kind of phrasal verbs, okay? Let's see here. The phrasal verbs can be literal or figurative, okay? As your partners say, sometimes the phrasal verbs change their meaning, okay? For example, here, sorry. She was walking across the street, okay? Walk across can be easily understood in this context, okay? So the meaning of this phrasal verb is literal. Then we have these other kind of phrasal verbs that are figurative. For example, can you put me up for tonight? Okay, put up has a figurative meaning. It means to let someone stay in your house. Okay, so this is a figurative meaning. Put me up, okay, or put up, to let someone stay in your house. So we have these two kind of phrasal verbs, literal and figurative. Okay, so then we have another kind of phrasal verb. These phrasal verbs are called three-word phrasal verbs, okay? It says sometimes phrasal verbs can consist in three elements. Remember that we always need a verb, and in the next part, we can have a prepositional adverb and a preposition or adverb. For example, here we have a three-word phrasal verb. Look up to, look forward to, or put up with. ¿Ok? Entonces, a veces tenemos este tipo de phrasal verbs que están compuestos por tres elementos. Then we have here transitive phrasal verbs. Okay, we have this other kind of phrasal verb. What does it mean? What does transitive mean? It means that this phrasal verb requires an object. I want you to tell me, how can you define subject and object in a sentence? What is a subject and what is an object? What can you tell me about this?
A subject is the word that makes the action.
Okay.
Or the person.
The subject could be like a name.
Okay. Yes. Anything else?
And the object is the thing that received that action.
Very good. Yes, the subject is the person or the thing in the sentence that performs the action, right? Is the person or thing who does the action in the sentence. And the object is the person or thing that receives the action in the sentence. Okay? For example, Lucas opens the door. Okay, Lucas in this situation is the subject because he is doing the action. Okay, and the door is the object because the door is receiving the action. Okay, so it's the same here. Okay, transitive phrasal verbs require an object. For example, if we have this phrasal verb, I'm looking for, okay, it is incomplete, right? The sentence is incomplete, okay? Because we can say looking for what or for whom, right? So we need something. It can be looking for your keys, looking for a job. It can be looking for what? For an animal or for a place, okay? So the sentence is incomplete in this situation. So we need an object in these kind of sentences, in these kind of phrasal verbs, Okay? So, for example, I'm looking for a job. This sentence is incomplete. I is the subject of the sentence. Looking for is my phrasal verb, that is my verb, and job is my object. So I need an object. When my phrasal verb is transitive, I need an object. Okay? And then we have here these phrasal verbs that need an object. These can be separable or inseparable. What does it mean? That we can separate the words. For example, in this situation, Mary made the story up. So here we have made up is the phrasal verb. And we can separate these two words and write the object here. Okay? So, or we can say the object at the end. Okay? So, Mary made up a really interesting story. Okay? It says, some phrasal verbs may not be separables. Algunos phrasal verbs no pueden separarse. Necesitamos ponerlos juntos. ¿Ok? Pero hay algunos como made up que pueden ser separados o pueden ser, pueden ir juntos en una oración. Por ejemplo, I came across some old photos in a drawer. ¿Ok? No podríamos decir I came some old photos across. No podríamos separar este phrasal verb came across. ¿Ok? Entonces, tenemos estos dos tipos de phrasal verbs en los transitivos. ¿Ok? Transitive phrasal verbs can be separable or inseparable. Okay, so here we have intransitive phrasal verbs. What are the intransitive phrasal verbs? Are the phrasal verbs that don't need an object. Okay, these are the intransitive phrasal verbs. Don't need an object. For example, my car broke down and I had to take it to the mechanic. So this broke down, it means to stop working. Okay, so we cannot say my car broke down something, right? Entonces, este es un intransitive phrasal verb porque no necesita de un objeto, okay, después de este phrasal verb. So this is intransitive phrasal verb. Okay, so I'm going to ask some questions about the phrasal verb. So we said, what is a phrasal verb? What is a phrasal verb?
There are phrases that indicate actions.